What's up? It's your man Thatch the Great checking in once again on my way from the gym on this beautiful Tuesday in Duval County, Jacksonville, Florida. My question to y'all today, man, and this is a question that I had to ask somebody at work today when they started bitching and complaining about their circumstances in life. I always ask people this whenever they start taking that victim mentality, because I don't really like that mindset at all. My question to them, and I'll pose the same question to whoever happens to see this, is what stopping you, or should I say, what is holding you back from being great? What is stopping you from being great? Because so many people like to put the onus on circumstances in their life, things that are currently happening to them or current situations that they're dealing with, they're going through. But you know what? Every single person on this planet has their own circumstances and their own burdens that they have to deal with on a daily basis. So I don't accept that. I don't accept that victim mentality of letting life happen to me. No, I much rather take the offensive, and I much rather be in complete control of everything that's happening to me. Regardless of what happens, it is my prerogative of how I deal with it or how I respond to it. Life is going to throw a lot of obstacles at you. It's going to throw you a lot of curveballs. That's just life. But it is completely 100% up to you how you respond and how you react to it. Are you just going to fault? Are you just going to fold like a goddamn lawn chair? Or are you going to show resilience and resolve, and are you going to step up to the plate and deal with those obstacles and those curveballs that life throws you? Are you going to deal with that head on? Because what I told the person at work today, right, is the fact that, listen, I know that you're bitching about the job. You don't like the fact that, you've been asked to pick up this project, this, that, and the third, but at the same time, it could always be worse. You must always keep in mind the fact that it could always be worse. You could not have a job. There's tons of people out here that are completely listless, out of luck, and unemployed, looking for a job right now, and you're getting paid good money to do the job, and yet you're sitting here complaining to me. If you dislike the job that much, why don't you just quit? Just quit. Go find something better. If that's how you're thinking, because nobody's forcing you to work here. Nobody's forcing you to work at any job, man. You always have a choice. Everybody has a fucking choice. You don't have to work wherever you work at, but you're working there because one of two reasons. Either one, because you don't have any other prospects and you can't find a better job, or two, you're working there because the money's good, or your prospects of upward mobility are good. So you have an option regardless where you're working at. Instead of bitching or complaining, always look at the full spectrum. Look at the full scope. There's tons of people out there who are out of work who would give their right arm to be where you're at, especially if you have a good paying job, such as the person that I was talking to today. We work in the same apartment. So I don't have much sympathy for someone who's bitching to me about their life circumstances, or the fact that they don't like their job, or the fact that they don't like the fact that more responsibility has been piled onto them. Nobody wants to hear that shit, bro. Life is all about the haves and have-nots, and if you are fortunate enough to be one of the haves, how dare you sit here and bitch to me about a job that pays really well? How dare you sit here and complain to me about that when there's so many people that would love to be in your spot? Always be cognizant of the fact that you can always be humble, and life can always show you exactly how bad it can get. I don't mean to be negative in that aspect, but let me put it like this, guys. In order to appreciate heaven, you first must go through hell. And let me tell you, when I first got out of college, way back when, got me dating myself here. I don't want to make it obvious how damn old I am. But when I first got out of college back in 2008, I came out of college to what most people would call a brick wall market. Obviously, the mortgage industry had just collapsed that year, and the job market had plummeted as a result of that, obviously. So I came out of college thinking, I'm going to start making really good money fresh out the gate. That dream that they sell everybody about college when you're in high school. Go to college. You're going to come out. You're going to be making great money off top. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Let me tell y'all, when I first got out of college, y'all know where I worked at? Initially, I worked at it was really a scam, honestly. It was this marketing firm. Some marketing firm, which was nothing more than, ultimately, it was nothing more than business to business, door to door sales. But the way that they sold it made it seem like there was, opportunity to move up fast and ultimately have your own office in that. They sold the dream well. Long story short, I quit that motherfucker within that home. Just got out of college, thinking that I'm gonna make great money, straight to a scam, and then living with my parents. So that was humbling. Then get this, guys. Then I started working at Aaron's, a fucking rent-to-own place, right? Within 2 years, I became a general manager at Aaron's, making decent money. However, I was working 60 to 70 hours a week. 60 to 70 hours a week at like 25 years old. So the money was decent, but when you actually calculate it and divide the amount of hours by what I was making, I was still only making maybe $14 an hour, even though I was making good money, supposedly. But that was bullshit. It was a terrible job. And like I said, you had to go through hell to truly appreciate heaven. So I was paying my dues. I was going through hell. I was eating shit, so to speak, at that point, because I had come out of college and ran straight into a brick wall from the job market. Well, midway through my time at Aaron's, I got contacted by a recruiter for a company called PHH Mortgage. And ultimately, that is where my life, as far as the professional landscape is concerned, that's where my entire life took off. Because once I left Aaron's and went to the mortgage industry, that's where I started building those skills in the mortgage industry. Started off as a processor, underwriter, ultimately became operations manager. And then I used those skills to parlay that into working for many other companies in corporate America. And I just continued to increase my profile, build more skills, and be able to continue reaching that climbing that ladder, should I say. So that's what I mean when I say you had to go through hell to truly ultimately appreciate heaven. That's what I mean. I didn't come out of college to a great job. I had to eat shit for a few years. I had to pay dues. And that's just life, guys. Life is not always going to be easy. Things are not always going to go the way that you planned them to be. God knows, in high school, I went to the #1 high school in the entire nation academically, Stanton College Prep. Came out of high school, went to a great college, Florida A&M University. Graduated from there thinking I'm going to get all kinds of money when I came out of college. Didn't happen that way. But I couldn't cry about it. Could not cry about it. Could not complain about it. I had to take the hand that life dealt me, and I had to play that hand to the best of my abilities, and that's exactly what I did. So once God blessed me with the opportunity to get into the mortgage industry, that's where things took off, and I never looked back since. That was in 2012. It is obviously 2025 now. 13 years later, life is completely different than it was in 2012 when I first began working in the mortgage industry, making that transition from Aaron's into the mortgage industry. Properties under my ownership now. Several vehicles. A nice big house that I own. My primary residence. Everything took off from that point. But the fact is that I couldn't complain about how my life was at that point. I simply had to be a man, stand on my own 2 feet and figure it out. And there are just too many people these days who are too afraid or either too damn lazy to actually man up, deal with what the hand is that they've been dealt from life, and simply figure it out. Complaining about life is not going to get you anywhere. Bitching about your circumstances is not going to get you anywhere, guys. Trust me. Trust me. And here's the thing about that breakthrough that you may be waiting on, right? Usually that breakthrough that you're looking for in your life, usually speaking, for the most part, generally speaking, that breakthrough that you are looking for and that you are just hoping to come, that breakthrough is usually right outside your damn comfort zone. So if you're doing the exact same thing over and over and over, and yet you're somehow looking for different outcomes, or you're looking for a different end result from doing the exact same thing over and over, well, I think you already know that's the different definition of insanity. And it's not going to happen. You can keep waiting all you want, but unless you're actually putting in the work and you're actually putting forward the initiative to change your circumstances, whether it be in your job, whether it be how your body looks, whether it be with the women that you're able to attract, it all takes initiative, and it all takes work on your part as a man. I want you guys to understand that. And one thing that is not going to get you anywhere, and one thing that will certainly yield no results whatsoever, is simply complaining or bitching about the circumstances that you are being forced to deal with right now. If you don't like your circumstances, then work your ass off to change them. It's honestly just that simple. As a man, it is honestly that simple. If you don't like the circumstances that you are currently subjected to, then put in the work, put in the effort, and take the initiative to do everything in your power to change those circumstances. Because nobody wants to hear a man bitching and complaining about what life is doing to him. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Nobody. And I think if you're a man, if you've been experiencing this experience that is life as a man, only a man can tell you about just how little society gives a fuck about you if you are not winning. Nobody gives a fuck about a man who can't get it together. No. Women don't give a fuck about a man who can't get it together, who's not winning, who's not optimizing his life. All women want to do is stand at the damn finish line and wait on whoever the winners are, and then they get their choice if they're attractive enough. That's just how life is, bro. So don't come to me with your sob story. I don't want to hear that shit. These bitches don't want to hear that shit. You feel me? Better get you some money, develop some skills, get you some property, make something out of your life, because the fact is, when it comes to how you will be remembered when you're dead and gone, the way that your family's going to remember you, the way that your children are going to remember you, they're going to remember a man who was competent, they're going to remember a man who provided, they're going to remember a man who was a leader. And if you have not put in the work to develop yourself into making sure that you actually fit the bill, and I'll be damned if I die and nobody has anything that they can say about me as far as me being an amazing provider, an outstanding man of character, a man of principle, a man who took great care of his daughter, a man who taught her all the things that she needed to know about life, a man who made great money, a man who had properties, a man who had assets set aside for his family if anything happened to him. I'll be damned if I die and I'm not able to have people say that about me. And as a man, you need to have those exact same things in place, guys. You need to be working your ass off every day to make sure that you are putting whatever needs to be in place, and make sure that you are striving to leave that legacy, not only for your children, but all of your family. But me personally, every single day I wake up, I bust my ass from start to finish. From the break of dawn to late at night, I am busting my ass to make sure that I am doing everything possible to leave the best legacy that I possibly can for my daughter. That's all I do. I tell people all the time, I hustle for my last name, not my first one. I hustle for my last name, dog. I want to make sure that my daughter is absolutely set up. Make sure that she's straight beyond measure if anything should happen to me. And that's the true measure of a man. That's the true measure of a man. How do you take care of your family? What are you doing to make sure that you are providing the best life possible for your children? What are you doing to make sure that they have all of the skills, all the knowledge, and the character necessary to have the absolute best life possible while you're here and when you're gone? So once again, just to bring this full circle, with all that being said, there are no excuses. If life sucks for you right now, if you don't like the circumstances that you are currently being subjected to, then put in the work and put forth the effort and initiative necessary to change those circumstances. That's as simple as I can put it. You don't like your life? Cool. We've all been there. But what are you going to do to change it? What are you going to do to change those circumstances? What are you going to do to better yourself? What are you going to do to provide yourself and your family with a better life? That's my question to you. That is my one question to you today. If you're not happy with the circumstances that life is currently dealing you, what are you doing to make that change? What are you doing to improve upon that? I put the work in, and I'm still putting the work in every single day to keep making sure that I level up time and time again in life. Can you say that you're doing the same? Honestly, ask yourself that question, guys. And that is the end of my sermon for the day. I didn't mean to rant, but I feel like somebody out there, or should I say a whole bunch of people out there, needed to hear that message. If any of what I just said resonates with you, go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to holler at y'all, all right? See you, man. That's great. I'll holler. Peace.